I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, mascara streaking down my cheeks. The sounds of laughter and chatter from my own baby shower filtered through the closed door, a cruel reminder that my special day had been hijacked. Again. My name is Samantha, and I should have known better than to let my sister anywhere near the planning of my baby shower. But my mother insisted, saying, "Addison has such wonderful taste, darling, and you know how she loves to help." Help? More like steal the spotlight, which is exactly what happened 30 minutes ago. The day had started perfectly. The garden was decorated with soft pink and white roses, crystal champagne flutes sparkled in the spring sunshine, and my closest friends and family gathered to celebrate my first child. Even my usually stoic father Malcolm seemed touched, his eyes glistening when he hugged me. "You're glowing, sweetheart," he whispered, pressing a kiss to my forehead. "Actually, I do mind," I say quietly. "This is my baby shower, Addison. My day." Her perfect smile falters. "Don't be silly, Sam. I'm just trying to make it special." Special for whom? Before she can answer, I hear Liam calling from the garden. "Sam, your mother wants to start the games." I look at my sister, at her flawless makeup and designer dress, at the ring that cost more than my car, and something hardens in my chest. This ends now. "Coming," I call back. But as I brush past Addison, I make a silent vow to myself. No more playing nice. No more being the understanding little sister. It's time to show them all who I really am. 3 weeks after my ruined baby shower, I found myself sitting in a financial planning class at the local community center. Catherine had convinced me to join her, saying it would be therapeutic. I wasn't sure how spreadsheets could heal my wounded pride, but I was desperate enough to try anything. The key to independence, our instructor Sarah explained, is understanding where your money goes and how to make it work for you. I glanced around the room, surprised to see it filled with women of all ages. Some were taking furious notes, others nodding along knowingly. I felt like an imposter, the privileged daughter of a wealthy family who'd never had to worry about money. "Hey," Catherine whispered, nudging me. "Look what I found while organizing the firm's archives." She slid a folder across the table. Inside was a document that made my heart skip, a detailed record of Addison's spending habits and loans from our father. "Where did you get this?" I whispered back. "Perks of being a legal assistant at your father's firm." She winked. "Did you know Addison's been borrowing money monthly? That fancy apartment, the designer clothes, even that engagement ring. It's all Daddy's money." The revelation hit me like a truck. While I'd been working as a marketing consultant, building my own life with Liam, Addison had been living off our father's wealth. No wonder she could afford to overshadow everyone. She wasn't paying for any of it. After class, Catherine and I grabbed coffee at the cafe next door. "I can't believe she's that dependent," I said, stirring my decaf latte. "She always acts so successful." "It's all smoke and mirrors," Catherine replied. "But here's what I don't get. Why does your dad enable it?" My phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil. "Samantha, darling." Addison's voice chirped through the speaker. "I need a teensy favor. Can you spot me 5,000 just until next month? The wedding planner needs a deposit." I nearly choked on my coffee. 5,000? I know, but Daddy's maxed out this month's allowance, and Orlando's trust fund payment doesn't come through until next quarter. Please? You're my sister. I caught Catherine's eye across the table. She raised an eyebrow. "I'll need to think about it," I replied carefully. "But I need it today. The venue won't hold the date without a deposit." "Then maybe you should consider a different venue," I suggested, surprising myself with my firmness. Silence on the other end. Then, "Wow, I can't believe you're being so selfish. After everything I've done for you?" "Like what, exactly?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. "I planned your baby shower." "You mean the one where you announced your engagement?" Another silence. "I have to go," she said finally. "Orlando's calling, but we'll talk about this later." The line went dead. Catherine slow clapped. "Finally!" she exclaimed. "You stood up to her." But my mind was already racing ahead. I need your help, I said, pulling out my laptop. Show me everything you know about financial planning. Everything went smoothly until the gift opening ceremony. I had just unwrapped a beautiful handmade blanket from my best friend Catherine when Addison cleared her throat and clinked her glass. Everyone, I have an announcement, she trilled, her voice carrying across the garden. My stomach dropped. I knew that tone. Orlando and I are engaged. For the next 2 hours, Catherine walked me through basics of investment, budgeting, and digital literacy. By the time we finished, I had enrolled in 3 online courses: advanced Excel, digital marketing, and personal finance management. What exactly are you planning? Catherine asked as we packed up. I'm not sure yet, I admitted, but I know I need to be smarter, stronger, more independent. No more letting Addison walk all over me. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Liam. Hey, where are you? Your mom's been calling. Something about Addison needing emergency sister time? I rolled my eyes. I'm busy. Tell her I'm at a prenatal class. Sam. Liam's voice softened. I know the baby shower thing upset you, but she's still your sister. And I'm still your wife, I shot back. But that didn't stop you from celebrating while I cried in the bathroom. That's not fair. No, what's not fair is everyone always taking her side. I'm done with that. I hung up, hands shaking. Catherine gave me a concerned look. You okay? I nodded, placing my hand on my growing belly. For the first time in a long time, I think I will be. As we left the cafe, I spotted a familiar document poking out of the folder. A loan agreement between my father and Addison, with terms that made my eyebrows shoot up. This wasn't just pocket money. This was serious debt. Catherine, I said slowly, I think I just figured out how to teach my sister a lesson about independence. She grinned. I was hoping you'd say that. Want to know what else I found in those archives? I smiled back, feeling a surge of confidence I hadn't experienced in years. It was time for Addison to learn what it means to stand on her own 2 feet, whether she wanted to or not. You want me to what? Catherine stared at me across her dining room table, surrounded by spreadsheets and financial documents. Help me create a presentation showing exactly how much money Addison owes, I repeated, highlighting another figure on the loan statement. Dad needs to see the full picture. And you really think he'll cut her off? Not immediately, but once he sees how she's bleeding him dry. I patted my 7-month baby bump. Let's just say I'm not the only one who needs to grow up. My phone buzzed for the 10th time that morning. Another missed call from Addison. I'd been dodging her for 2 weeks since refusing the loan, and it was clearly driving her crazy. Speaking of your sister, Catherine said, did you see her latest Instagram post? I pulled up the app. There was Addison, posed in front of a luxury car dealership, caption reading, testing out wedding getaway cars with my love. Thou blessed Tirum future Mrs. Stevenson. She's still pretending everything's fine, I muttered. But look at the date on this latest loan request. Catherine leaned over. That's from yesterday. $5,000 for a car deposit? Which she asked me for last week. She's desperate. My phone rang again. This time it was Orlando, Addison's fiancé. That was new. I answered, putting it on speaker. Samantha. Sorry to bother you, but I'm worried about Addison. Oh? I kept my voice neutral. She's been different lately, anxious. She mentioned you two had a disagreement about a loan. I caught Catherine's eye. She nodded encouragingly. I just think it's time Addison learned to manage her own finances, I said carefully. Don't you want your future wife to be financially responsible? A pause. Actually, that's partly why I'm calling. I found some concerning documents in her apartment. Bills, overdue notices. I had no idea she was in this situation. Really? I feigned surprise. I thought you two discussed everything. We discuss a lot of things, he said slowly. But money, she always said her family handled that. Perfect. Seeds of doubt planted. After hanging up, Catherine whistled low. That was masterful. But aren't you worried about pushing them apart? If their relationship can't survive financial honesty, maybe it shouldn't survive at all. My laptop pinged. An email from my father's accounting department. I'd requested copies of my trust fund documents. Claiming pregnancy brain made me forget the details. Instead, I'd gotten a gold mine. Complete records of both Addison's and my accounts. The collective gasps and squeals that followed made me want to throw up. Or maybe that was just the morning sickness that still hadn't quite gone away at 6 months pregnant. Look at this ring. Addison thrust her left hand forward, the enormous diamond catching the sunlight. We're thinking of a winter wedding in Aspen. Samantha, you'll have had the baby by then. You can be my maid of honor. Holy shit, Catherine breathed, looking over my shoulder. Is that how much she's borrowed in total? And look at the interest rates Dad's charging. Practically nothing. He's enabling her. A knock at Catherine's door made us both jump. Through the window, I saw Addison's red convertible parked outside. How did she find me? I hissed. Find my iPhone, Catherine groaned. Quick, hide the documents. I shoved everything into my laptop bag just as Catherine opened the door. Addison burst in, mascara smeared. Why are you avoiding me? She demanded. I've been calling for weeks. I've been busy, I said, gesturing to my belly. You know, preparing for my actual baby? Too busy to help your sister? The venue canceled. They gave away our date because I missed the deposit deadline. That's terrible, I said, not even trying to sound sincere. Maybe try somewhere more affordable? Addison's face crumpled. Orlando suggested the same thing. He's been asking all these questions about money lately. Did you say something to him? Me. I barely know him. But since you're here, I pulled out a single document from my bag. I did some research on financial planning. Did you know most couples fail because of money issues? She snatched the paper, a basic budget template I'd prepared. What's this supposed to be? A wake-up call. You can't keep living off Dad forever. I don't live off... She stopped, face paling. How do you know about that? Does it matter? The point is you need help. From you? She laughed bitterly. Little sister wants to teach me about money? Actually, yes. I stood up, meeting her eye to eye. I'm offering to help you become independent, really independent, but it has to be on my terms. Addison's lower lip trembled. For a moment, I saw past the perfect makeup and designer clothes to the scared little girl beneath. Orlando wants a prenup, she whispered. I don't know what to do. I shared a look with Catherine. This was it, my chance to either destroy my sister or save her. Sit down, I said, pulling out the budget template again. Let's talk about your future. Your real future, not the fantasy you've been living in. Addison hesitated, then sank into the chair across from me. As I opened my laptop, I felt a shift in the air. The balance of power had finally changed. Family dinners at my parents' house had always been tense, but tonight was different. I sat at the massive oak table, 8 months pregnant and armed with knowledge that could tear everything apart. More wine, Orlando? My mother offered, ever the perfect hostess. No, thank you, he replied, glancing at Addison. We're trying to cut back on expenses. Dad lowered his fork. Expenses? With the wedding coming up? Actually, Addison cleared her throat. We're thinking of postponing. Maybe something smaller. Smaller? Mom looked horrified. But we've already told everyone about Aspen. I took a sip of water, hiding my smile. 2 weeks of financial counseling with Addison had already started showing results. Speaking of money, Dad turned to me. How's that new investment portfolio I set up for the baby? Before I could answer, Liam jumped in. It's amazing, Malcolm. The returns are incredible. That's because Dad knows how to manage money. Addison said quickly. Unlike some people who think budgeting spreadsheets solve everything. I met her gaze across the table. Spreadsheets don't solve problems. They just make them visible. Orlando shifted uncomfortably. Actually, I've been looking at those spreadsheets Samantha made. They're quite enlightening. Enlightening? Dad's bushy eyebrows shot up. What spreadsheets? Just some basic budgeting tools, I said innocently. Addison asked for help with wedding planning. Mom brightened. Oh, that's wonderful. You girls working together. Together isn't exactly how I'd put it, Addison muttered. What does that mean? Liam asked. It means, Addison's voice rose, that my little sister suddenly thinks she's a financial guru trying to control my life. Control? I laughed. That's rich coming from you. How's that venue deposit coming along? Girls, Mom warned, but Dad held up his hand. What venue deposit? Addison paled. Nothing, Daddy. Just a small cash flow issue. Small? Orlando interjected. Addison, you told me it was $50,000. The room went silent. Dad's face turned red. 50,000? On top of what you already owe me? Malcolm. Mom touched his arm. Not at dinner. No, Lucia, this needs to be addressed. He turned to Orlando. Did you know about the loans? I looked desperately at my husband, Liam, silently pleading for support, but he just smiled and raised his glass along with everyone else. Congratulations, Addison. Orlando, welcome to the family. Catherine squeezed my hand under the table. She knew. She always knew. Isn't this wonderful? My mother, Lucia, gushed, floating between guests like a butterfly. Both my girls celebrating such beautiful milestones. Orlando's jaw tightened. I'm learning more every day. Samantha, Addison's voice cracked. You promised not to say anything. I haven't said anything, I replied calmly. Your spending habits speak for themselves. That's enough. Mom stood up. This is supposed to be a family dinner. Family? I pushed back my chair. You mean the family that always takes Addison's side? The family that lets her steal every important moment of my life? Sam. Liam reached for my hand, but I pulled away. No, let's talk about family. Let's talk about how Dad's been enabling Addison's spending for years while pretending it's business loans. Let's talk about how she's never had to work for anything because everyone's too afraid she'll fall apart. How dare you? Addison shot up. You're just jealous because... Because what? I cut her off. Because I actually earned my way? Because I don't need Daddy's money to impress people? Orlando stood up slowly. I think I should go. Orlando, please. Addison grabbed his arm. I can explain everything. Can you explain this? He pulled out his phone, showing what looked like a bank statement. Your father's not the only one you've been borrowing from, is he? The color drained from Addison's face. How did you... Your sister's spreadsheets made me curious. I did some digging of my own. Dad slammed his hand on the table. Everyone sit down. Now. We all sank back into our chairs. Even Mom, usually quick with a distraction, stayed silent. Addison? Dad's voice was dangerously quiet. Exactly how much money are we talking about? She burst into tears. I don't know. I lost track. Lost track? Orlando's voice rose. We're talking hundreds of thousands. Malcolm, Mom whispered. Surely there's been a mistake. No mistake, I said, pulling out my tablet. It's all right here. Every loan, every credit card, every emergency withdrawal. I've been tracking it for weeks. You had no right, Addison screamed. Actually, Dad said, reaching for my tablet, she had every right. This affects all of us. The family reputation, the business. The business? Orlando's head snapped up. What does this have to do with the business? Another heavy silence fell. I caught Catherine's warnings in my head about pushing too far, too fast. But it was too late now. Maybe, I said, standing again. We should continue this discussion when everyone's had time to process. My baby doesn't need this stress. As I waddled toward the door, Liam following close behind, I heard Orlando ask one final question that made me smile. Addison, what exactly did you mean when you said the family business was your backup plan? The morning after the disastrous family dinner, I woke up to 37 missed calls and one very angry sister pounding on my front door. Open up, Samantha. I know you're in there. Liam stirred beside me. Should I? No, I said, hauling my pregnant body out of bed. I'll handle this. I opened the door to find Addison looking like she'd slept in her clothes. Her perfect hair was a mess, and her mascara had created dark circles under her eyes. Orlando left me, she spat. Are you happy now? Come in before the neighbors call the police. She stormed into my living room, whirling to face me. Dad froze all my accounts. My credit cards are canceled. Even my emergency fund is gone. Sounds like consequences finally caught up with you. This is all your fault. You and your stupid spreadsheets. My spreadsheets didn't create your debt, Addison. You did that all by yourself. She collapsed onto my couch, mascara-stained tears rolling down her cheeks. What am I supposed to do now? I can't even pay my rent. Get a job, I suggested, lowering myself carefully into an armchair. Like normal people do? A job? She looked at me like I'd suggested she live in a dumpster. I have a career. Being Dad's social media consultant isn't a real job. We both know that's just his way of keeping you on the payroll. My phone buzzed. A text from Orlando. Can we meet? Need to talk about what you found. Who's that? Addison demanded. None of your business. Just like my financial records weren't your business when you tried to hack into them last month. She had the grace to look embarrassed. How did you know about that? Because I'm not an idiot. I saw the login attempts from your IP address. I just wanted to know how you were tracking everything. How you knew about the loans. I excused myself and fled to the bathroom, which brings me to now, trying not to completely break down while my own baby shower continues without me. A soft knock on the door. Sam? It's Catherine. Can I come in? I unlock the door and Catherine slips inside, immediately pulling me into a hug. Your sister is such a bitch, she whispers, making me laugh despite myself. Did you see Liam's face? I ask, dabbing at my eyes with tissue. He didn't even care. Maybe if you'd asked nicely instead of trying to steal information, I would have helped you. Helped me? She laughed bitterly. You've destroyed my life. Orlando won't return my calls. Dad thinks I'm a criminal and Mom can barely look at me. And whose fault is that? I stood up, anger finally breaking through. You've been living a lie, Addison. Pretending to be successful while drowning in debt. Using Dad's money to overshadow everyone else's achievements. Even my baby shower wasn't sacred enough for you. That's what this is about? You're still mad about the engagement announcement? It's about everything. Every birthday, every achievement, every milestone, you had to make it about you. And you did it all with borrowed money. A key turned in the lock. Liam coming back from his morning run. He froze in the doorway, assessing the scene. Should I come back later? No, I said firmly. This is your house, too. Addison was just leaving. Leaving to go where? She cried. I have nothing left. You have choices, I replied. Get a real job. Sell your designer clothes. Move to a cheaper apartment. Or keep playing victim while everyone else moves on with their lives. My phone buzzed again. Orlando confirming a meeting time at a local cafe. Why is Orlando texting you? Addison grabbed for my phone, but I pulled it away. Because unlike you, I actually understand business ethics. Business ethics? Her eyes widened. What did you tell him about the company? Nothing he couldn't find out himself once he started looking. Did you really think he wouldn't discover the truth about your investment portfolio? Liam stepped between us. Maybe we should all take a breath. Stay out of this, Addison snapped. This is between me and my sister. No, I said quietly. This is between you and reality. And reality's winning. She stood up, smoothing her wrinkled dress. You think you're so clever, don't you? Little Miss Perfect with her spreadsheets and her happy marriage and her baby on the way. But you forget, I know things about you too. The difference is I have nothing to hide. Her lips curved into a mean smile. We'll see about that. You're not the only one who can play detective. As she stormed out, slamming the door behind her, Liam turned to me. What did she mean by that? I rubbed my belly. feeling the baby kick. Nothing. She's desperate and lashing out. But as I watched her car speed away through the window, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. Addison had always been dangerous when cornered, and I'd just backed her into the tightest corner of her life. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Catherine. "Just heard from the office. Your sister's been asking about your old case files. Watch your back." She did what? I nearly spilled my herbal tea across the cafe table where Orlando and I were meeting. "Tried to sell her engagement ring," Orlando said, running a hand through his hair. "The jeweler called me because something seemed off. Turns out she'd already taken out a loan against it months ago." Before or after the baby shower announcement? Before. He looked tired, older somehow. The whole engagement was built on lies. Catherine, who'd insisted on joining us, leaned forward. "That's not all. She came to the firm yesterday, demanding access to old files." "What files?" Orlando asked. "Anything related to Samantha or the family business," Catherine replied. When we refused, she threatened to go to the press about corporate irregularities. My hand instinctively went to my belly. At 8.5 months, stress was the last thing I needed. "She's bluffing," I said, but my voice wavered. "Is she?" Orlando pulled out his phone. "Look at her latest Instagram post." The photo showed Addison, perfectly styled despite everything, standing in front of Dad's office building. The caption read, "Time to expose some family secrets. Truth will prevail. Justice. No more lies." "She's lost it," Catherine whispered. My phone rang, Mom's name flashing on the screen. "Hello? Samantha, please come to the house. Your sister. She's making demands." "Men can be oblivious," Catherine says, helping me fix my makeup. "But this isn't about Liam right now. This is about Addison stealing your thunder. Again." "Like my college graduation," I say bitterly, when she announced her promotion during my valedictorian speech. "And your wedding," Catherine adds, when she brought that Spanish prince as her +1 and spent the whole reception doing the flamenco. I could hear shouting in the background. Addison's voice, Dad's deeper tones. "What kind of demands?" "She wants control of her trust fund. Says if we don't give it to her, she'll go public with something about your old marketing clients." My blood ran cold. She wouldn't dare. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Orlando stood up. "I'm coming with you." "Me too," Catherine added. The drive to my parents' house was tense. When we arrived, we found Addison in the living room, facing off against Dad while Mom hovered nervously nearby. Well, well," Addison sneered when she saw us. "The gang's all here." "What are you doing?" I asked. "Getting what's mine. Did you really think you could destroy my life without consequences?" "You destroyed your own life," Orlando said quietly. "We just uncovered the truth." "Truth?" She laughed. "Like the truth about how my perfect sister helped certain clients hide their assets during divorces?" The room went silent. Dad turned to me, face pale. "What is she talking about?" "Nothing," I said quickly. "It was all legal." "Legal but ethical?" Addison pressed. "I wonder what the ethics board would think about those creative accounting methods you suggested." "That was 5 years ago," I protested, "and I reported everything to compliance. After the fact," she shot back. "I have copies of the original documents. Amazing what you can find when you start digging." Orlando stepped forward. "Are you really going to destroy your family's reputation out of spite?" "Spite?" Addison's voice cracked. "You all ruined everything. My wedding, my relationship, my life." "No one ruined anything," Dad said firmly. "You made choices. Bad ones. And now you're making worse ones," Catherine added. Addison pulled out a USB drive. $1 million. That's my price for these files." "You're blackmailing us?" Mom gasped. "I'm negotiating." Addison's hand shook. 1 million and I disappear. Start fresh somewhere else. I walked over to her slowly, my pregnant belly making me waddle slightly. "You want to start fresh? Here's my counteroffer. I'll help you find a job. A real one. I'll teach you actual financial management. I'll even help you rebuild your relationship with mom and dad. Why would you do that? Because despite everything, you're my sister. And this baby deserves to know their aunt. The real you, not this desperate person you've become. Tears welled in her eyes. It's too late. It's not, Orlando said. But you need help, Addison. Professional help. Dad cleared his throat. I know a good therapist, and I'll pay for it. But that's the last money you'll get from me until you prove you can be responsible. Addison looked around the room, at all the faces watching her. The USB drive trembled in her hand. I don't know how to be different, she whispered. Then let us help you learn, I said, reaching for her hand. But no more threats, no more lies, no more manipulation. She stared at the USB drive for a long moment, then placed it in my palm. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. As she collapsed into tears, Mom rushed forward to hold her. Dad pulled out his phone, presumably to call the therapist. Orlando and Catherine exchanged relieved looks. I sat down heavily, exhausted but relieved. The baby kicked, as if sensing the tension breaking. Samantha? Addison looked up from Mom's embrace. Did you mean it? About helping me? Yes, I said, but this time we do it my way. Another knock. Samantha? It's Addison. Are you okay in there? Everyone's waiting to finish opening presents. I catch Catherine rolling her eyes in the mirror. Just a minute, I call out, trying to keep my voice steady. Morning sickness. Oh, poor thing. Addison coos through the door. I can't wait until it's my turn. Orlando and I want at least 3 children. We're thinking of starting right after the wedding. I grip the sink so hard my knuckles turn white. Catherine places a steadying hand on my shoulder. You should go back out there, she whispers. Show them you're stronger than this. I shake my head. I can't. I can't sit there and watch everyone fawn over her ring while my baby shower becomes her engagement party. Then don't. Catherine's eyes meet mine in the mirror. Go out there and take back your day. This is about you and your baby, not her. I take a deep breath, straighten my dress, and open the door. Addison stands there, twisting her new ring around her finger. Finally, she exclaims. I was getting worried. Oh, and I hope you don't mind, but I invited Orlando's parents to join us. They're on their way. Something snaps inside me. Years of being overshadowed, of playing second fiddle, of smiling through gritted teeth. It all comes rushing to the surface. Push! Just one more big push. The doctor's voice seemed to come from far away as I gripped Liam's hand with crushing force. Moments later, a sharp cry filled the delivery room. It's a girl! Through my exhausted haze, I saw Liam's eyes fill with tears as they placed our daughter on my chest. She's perfect, he whispered. Hours later, after we'd settled into the recovery room, there was a soft knock at the door. Addison poked her head in, looking uncharacteristically nervous. Is it okay if I come in? Of course, I said, surprised she'd asked permission at all. 2 months of therapy had already created subtle changes in my sister. She approached the bed carefully, carrying a small gift bag. I got her something. Nothing expensive, she added quickly. I made it myself. Inside was a hand-knitted baby blanket, slightly uneven but clearly made with care. You learned to knit? My therapist suggested finding hobbies that don't involve spending money. She smiled sheepishly. Turns out I'm not terrible at it. It's beautiful, I said sincerely. Want to hold your niece? As I placed the baby in her arms, Addison's face softened. She looks just like you. Poor kid, I joked, and we both laughed. A genuine moment of sisterly connection that would have seemed impossible months ago. I got the job, she said suddenly. The entry-level position at the marketing firm you recommended. That's wonderful. The salary's tiny compared to what I'm used to, but... She shrugged. It's honest work. How's the apartment hunting going? Found a studio within my new budget. It's small, but it's yours, I finished. Really yours. The baby stirred, and Addison handed her back just as Orlando appeared in the doorway. "Sorry I'm late," he said. "Traffic was terrible." He gave Addison a polite nod, their first interaction since the breakup. "I should go," Addison said quickly. "My financial literacy class starts in an hour." As she gathered her things, Orlando cleared his throat. "I heard about the job. Congratulations." "Thanks," she replied softly. "And I'm sorry. For everything." He nodded, accepting the apology without elaboration. After Addison left, Orlando turned to us. "I actually came to discuss something important. It's about the family business." Liam sat up straighter. "What about it?" "I've been doing some consulting work for your father," Orlando explained, "looking at ways to modernize operations. And I found something interesting about those client files Addison threatened to expose." My heart skipped. "Orlando." "No, this is good news. Those creative accounting methods you developed? They were actually brilliant. Completely legal, just unconventional. With some refinement, they could revolutionize how the firm handles client asset management." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying your father wants to offer you a position, head of innovation and strategic development. You'd be working directly with the board to implement your ideas across the company." I looked down at my daughter, sleeping peacefully. "I don't know." "It's a flexible position," Orlando continued. "Work from home options, full maternity leave. Your father's finally realized he needs to modernize more than just the business practices." Liam squeezed my hand. "It's your decision, but I think you'd be amazing." "What about Addison?" I asked. "Won't she feel—" "This isn't about Addison," Orlando said firmly. "It's about recognizing talent and merit. Something your father should have done years ago." A knock interrupted us. Dad himself entered, looking uncharacteristically uncertain. "I heard my granddaughter arrived," he said softly, then noticed Orlando. You've told her?" I nodded. "I'm considering it." "Take your time," Dad said, surprising me. "But know that this offer comes with no strings attached. No family drama, no playing favorites, just recognition of your abilities." "And Addison?" "Is on her own path now," he replied. "One she needs to walk without our interference, just like you need to walk yours." He approached the bed, gazing down at his granddaughter. "What's her name?" "Emma," I said. "It means whole or universal, because she brought our family full circle." Dad's eyes glistened. "Perfect." He cleared his throat. "Now, about that job offer." "I'll do it," I said suddenly, surprising myself. "But on one condition." "Name it." "I want to start a mentorship program for young professionals, teaching them real financial independence, business ethics, personal responsibility. Everything I had to learn the hard way." Dad smiled. "Like mother, like daughter. She's not even a day old and you're already thinking about teaching the next generation." As if on cue, Emma opened her eyes, looking up at all of us with that unfocused newborn gaze. "Welcome to the family, little one," Dad whispered. The new, improved version. Emma's first birthday party was everything my baby shower should have been. Intimate, joyful, and drama-free. I watched my daughter smash her cake with gleeful abandon while our closest family and friends laughed and took photos. "She definitely got your determination," Catherine remarked, watching Emma methodically destroy the butterfly-shaped cake. "And hopefully some of her aunt's creativity," Addison added, adjusting the handmade birthday banner she'd crafted. No designer decorations this time. Everything was personal, meaningful, and made with love. My phone buzzed with a work notification, but I ignored it. The innovation department could wait. Today was about family. "Ignoring work calls?" Liam teased. "Who are you and what have you done with my wife?" "I learned from the best," I said, nodding toward Dad, who'd left his phone in the car for the entire party. Mom appeared with a stack of gifts. "Present time." "Speaking of presents," Addison said nervously, "I have something to show you all." She pulled out a folder, not a designer handbag or expensive trinket in sight. What's this? Dad asked. My first client portfolio. She beamed. I landed them completely on my own. No family connections, no borrowed money, just hard work and actual skill. Orlando, who'd remained friends with the family despite everything, raised his glass. Congratulations, that's genuinely impressive. It is, I agreed, meaning it. The sister who once needed validation through expensive shows of grandeur now glowed with authentic pride. And, she continued, I made my first student loan payment yesterday. Only 29 more to go. Mom wiped away tears. Both my girls, successful in their own right. Different kinds of success, I added, watching Emma grab another handful of cake. All equally valuable. Which reminds me, Dad cleared his throat. The board approved your mentorship program proposal yesterday. Full funding, starting next quarter. I hugged him, getting cake frosting on his usually immaculate suit. He didn't even flinch. Remember when we could barely be in the same room? Addison mused, helping Emma unwrap a present. Now look at us. Actual functioning adults. Speak for yourself. I laughed. I still have spit up in my hair most days. But you're rocking it. Catherine interjected. The program you designed for new employees is changing lives. 3 of my friends have already signed up for the next session. It's amazing what happens when you let people grow at their own pace, I said, watching Addison show Emma how to play with her new toy. Without competition or comparison. Liam wrapped his arm around me. You did that. You turned revenge into redemption. We all did it, I corrected. Even you, Mr. Don't Make a Scene, finally learned to stand up for what's right. I learned from my wife. He grinned. And I'll never doubt your instincts again. Emma toddled over to Addison, arms raised. Without hesitation, my sister scooped her up, not caring that the cake-covered baby was ruining her work clothes. Remember when I thought designer labels were a personality trait? She chuckled. Remember when I thought proving you wrong was more important than helping you grow? I countered. Orlando raised an eyebrow. Remember when you two nearly destroyed each other over a baby shower? Never again, Addison said firmly, bouncing Emma on her hip. I'm done living in shadows, yours or anyone else's. My new apartment might be tiny, but every inch of it is earned. And the view? Dad asked. Perfect for watching sunsets while I knit baby clothes for my favorite niece. Mom started gathering plates, ever the hostess. Should we do the birthday song? Wait, I said. First, I want to thank everyone. Not just for today, but for everything. For letting us make mistakes, learn from them, and grow beyond them. For believing in second chances and real change. And third chances, Addison added with a wry smile. And fourth? The point is, I continued, taking Emma from her, we're stronger now because we broke apart and rebuilt. All of us. Emma chose that moment to plant a sticky kiss on my cheek, drawing laughter from everyone. To new beginnings, Orlando raised his glass again. To earned success, Addison added. To family, Dad said softly. To truth, Mom joined in. To growth, Catherine smiled. To love, Liam squeezed my hand. I looked around at my reformed family. Imperfect, healing, real. Emma squirmed in my arms, reaching for the remnants of her cake. To having your cake and eating it too, I concluded, letting my daughter dive back into the dessert. But only after you've earned it. As everyone laughed and the birthday song finally began, I caught Addison's eye across the room. She mouthed a silent, thank you, and I nodded, knowing we'd both finally found our place. Not in competition, but in harmony.